Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. Are we on the air? Are we on the air? Somebody let me know. Are we on the air? Are we on the air? It's only Tuesday, right? What's today? Is today's Tuesday? It's only Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. Well, we're gonna make something out of Tuesday. We're gonna make something out of Tuesday. What's going on with everybody today? We're gonna definitely make something out of Tuesday. What's good? What's going on with everybody? It's been a rough one, man. Already been rough. Already been rough. This light bright as fuck. It's too dark, but I don't really care. As long as I'm here. As long as I'm in here. Cause that light bright as shit. That's a little better, I guess. Anyway, we in here. Miss Danny baby, what's good? Another loyal follower, Luna Thick Boom. Yo, today, well, let me just give you the backstory. It wasn't today, actually. It was actually, I want to say, Sunday. This dude, a single dad like me, was yelling at his kid. Him and his kid going back and forth. And, of course, you know, he's a white guy. And I'm only giving you the race. Because I think the race matters sometimes. So, dude is arguing with his kid. His kid is like my son age. About 10, I want to say maybe 9. And they arguing back and forth. And he's like, oh, the Gatorade only costs $2 because we was at the gym. The Gatorade only costs $2. It only costs $2. And his pops is like, no, we get something when we leave. You know, these Gatorades in the gym is too much money. And he wasn't hearing it. And they going back and forth. And the kid is trying to, you know, make some logic out of it and kind of talk sense into his pops. And the father's like, you wait until we get home. And little man was like, let me ask y'all a question. Growing up, if you're over the age of, let's call it 25, you over the age of 25, and you growing up, were you put on timeout? Did you get spankings? Like, I know me, we got fucked up. I don't want to say my mother was abusive. I'm not trying to say it like she was just like, yo, throw your hands up, we gonna get busy. But we got beatings. And I don't even like to call it spanking. Because spanking make it sound like you get put over somebody's knee and you get a spanking. We ain't talking about that. We talking about broomstick. Nikki, what's good? We talking about broomstick. We talking about slipper. We talking about shoe. We talking about cable remote. We talking about whatever the fuck. Whatever's close. That's what we talking about. Whatever's close. So, I say that to say this. Why is it that us, right? Black people, Spanish people, people of color, we always are quick to say, you know, bust his ass. Oh, that kid need to be spanked. That kid need a smack. You know what I'm saying? Nikki, what's good? That kid need a smack. But you see these white people, they quick to put their kids on timeout. Now, which one works better? Somebody get at me. Somebody let me know which one works better. You know what I'm saying? Somebody tell me, because my kids, for example, I got a boy, I got 2 girls. One girl is 17. So that whole spanking her, you see, Danny, you talking about foot to ass. Let me ask you a question, though. Did you used to get fucked up? Did somebody roundhouse Bruce Lee kick you? Nina said, hell yeah, I got straight slapped in the mouth. Belts, everything. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see it. Whatever. See, my mother was on it the same way. My mother was like, yo, whatever's close. So if we happen to be watching TV and you disrespected, or she said some shit she thought was disrespectful, you could catch the remote to the back of your head. Could fuck you up, could leave a knot in the back of your shit. Could wake up later on from a good swift swing. Or if we in the kitchen and there's a spatula or a rolling pin or, you know, a corned beef can, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. It's going down. But a lot of people, they don't believe in that shit though. Like, to me, dude clearly didn't believe in spanking his kid. I don't know if it was we out in public, so nobody ain't gonna get no spanking, or what. Luna Thick Boom said, timeout works better. This is interesting. Let me tell you why this is interesting. Nina, let me know if you agree with this. Not like Luna cares, because she's secure, but this is a woman of color saying that timeout works better. This is very rare. She said, when I used to get hit, she said, when I used to hit them, it did not work. Now, a lot of people agree with that. Sometimes I even feel like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I feel like, yo, hitting don't work. All you doing is making them tough than a motherfucker. All you do is training them how to take a punch or to duck a punch. You know? Big Marsh 1 said, I used to have to break a switch from the tree. Oh, you old school. You definitely from the West Indies, or your parents is from out there. That's the facts. You know what I'm saying? Danny said switch. Oh shit. Chancletas, cord, fist, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Big Marsh said broom. I used to get the broom too because my mother was big on cleaning. Like, for some reason, cleaning was therapeutic. So she had a broom in her hand, or she had like a bottle of Mistolin or some shit. And she would use that shit. Or some like kung fu fighting. You know what I mean? That's how I get to. You see all that shoulder rolling I be showing y'all shit? That's from my dukes. You know what I'm saying? That's from my moms. That's not from the streets. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Luna Thick Boom said, hitting leaves psychological marks. That's another good point, which I'm going to get into later. Now, let me ask you something on that. Luna, let me ask you on something on that. Do you find that most people of color, especially maybe from the West Indies, or maybe not especially, just people of color in general, do you think that we're quicker to hit and we don't really think about the psychological effects to it? Do you think hitting is ever called for? You know, Luna also said it affects their self-esteem. Hey, Trinity, what's good? Big Mar said, I got beat, but I don't beat my daughter. But why is that, though? You think beatings don't work? How y'all feel about timeouts? You think timeouts work? Here's an example. This is why I even bring it up. White people, my Caucasian brothers and sisters, right? They're known, I don't know if it's justified or not, but they're known to give their kids timeout, right? Billy stay on timeout. Susie stay on timeout. And I don't know why I choose Billy and Susie, because I know a black Billy and I know a black Susie. But Billy is really William and Susie's really Suzette. But whatever, it's cultural, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But William and Suzette stay on timeout. But then they grow up and blow shit up. And I'm not saying it's all like that. I'm saying when you hear about people blowing shit up, or when you hear about people going up in the classroom, or they go into school and fucking shit up, or they go to the post office and fuck shit up, it don't be certain people. It be other people. And those people used to get timeouts. You know what I'm saying? Do you think hitting is a more appropriate form of punishment to keep your kid in line, or just to give your kid certain structure? You know what I mean? Somebody get at me. Danny said, I put my daughter on timeout, but my boys get fucked up. What's the difference though? Why treat them differently? Don't you think that causes some sort of division in the house? Don't you think that would cause like some sort of separation? Like now the boys is looking at her differently, or the girls is looking at them differently. Like, yo, I could really do whatever because I'm not gonna get hit. You might take my phone away, and I probably can't go to the bashment over the weekend, but I'm cool on that as long as you don't tump me up. Now the dudes is probably looking at the girl like, damn, she don't never get in trouble. Cause let me keep it real. Again, I have two 11-year-olds, right? Literally a month apart. And the funny thing is, he always feel like he always get in trouble. It's really not he always get in trouble. He always gets spoken to. Because me, I speak a lot. Before I grab them up, and listen, for all of my Child Protective Services viewers, my DIFUS viewers, this is all imaginary. Okay? This is all theoretical. But theoretically, when I grab up my son, he feel like, oh, you don't never grab her up. But I'm like, what I look like grabbing up an 11-year-old girl? You know what I'm saying? But I know that it's causing a certain division and an animosity towards one another. You know what I'm saying? How do you fix that, Danny? How do you even fix that? Danny said, you have to be careful not to hit them when you're angry. That shit is almost impossible. Because if I hit somebody when I'm not angry, it's like tickling them. If I don't feel a way, like I never understood that. I never understood don't hit them when you're angry. That's like the offense happening and 2 hours later you're like, listen, I gotta give you this spanking. I know I really don't want to. Listen. I know I'm not mad at you. No, I'm not. But I gotta give you this spanking. I don't have that in me. Because after that, I'll talk to them until they cry. You know what I'm saying? I'll hurt them psychologically. You know? What the fuck, are you retarded? You can't behave yourself? What happened to your self-control? All that shit. Same shit I used to hear. You know what I'm saying? So I never understood it. I never understood that. Big Marsh 1 said, ask Danny baby why she hit the boys and not the girl. My kid's 13 years apart, but I did hit my son and I don't hit my girl. That's what I'm saying. Like it's a thin line, and I think sometimes that causes some sort of division sometimes, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a division. Like they start to look at each other in a very funny sort of way. Like they start to resent each other. Like, yo, mom treat her different or whatever. You know how kids talk. Kids is quick to tell you shit ain't fair and all that other bullshit. Because nothing is fair to them unless they getting something. You know what I mean? If they're not getting nothing, then, you know, that's just what I'm saying. Like, it's just very difficult to, especially with boys and girls. With a boy and a girl, they expect you to treat the both of them the same, but you can't. Especially if you're giving out punishment. If your punishment, however, is timeouts, and your punishment is just, you know, grounding them, then that's different. But if your punishment is you know, spankings and all that, it almost leaves you in a funny spot. It almost leaves you in a funny spot. You know what I'm saying? Hey Cindy, what's good? Cindy said everyone can catch these hands in my house. That's how I see it. We boxing. It's fight night. And the funny shit is the shit trickling down too. Like if you just happen to be in the room while somebody in trouble, you in trouble, my nigga. My pops always told me, yo, if you in a car with a person who got a gun and it's 5 of y'all in the car and one person got the gun and the cops pull you over, guess what? 5 of y'all niggas going to jail. That's how I see it. In my house, if you in trouble and somebody in the room, they in trouble too. If somebody come out there like, hey, what's going on? Let me show you what's going on out this motherfucker. You in trouble too. Okay? So that's how I'm looking at it. That's how I see it. You feel me? Nina Rose said, I feel like you should explain to them why they are being punished. Don't just whoop the kids and don't tell them why. Because that causes confusion. That causes confusion and just teaches violence and anger or fear. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Danny said, Miss Danny Baby said, my daughter's personality doesn't require it. She cries if you yell at her. The boys require physical. Oh, okay. Shit, I hear that. I thought that too. Like growing up, you could say certain things to hurt me quicker than punching me and thumping me up because I could take it. You know what I mean? Me and my sister actually, like we took it, and I think for me personally, what hurt me was my mother being emotional, like, oh, you know, he's out of control. Not that I was out of control, but she'd be on some shit like, yo, I just don't know what to do, you know. And if your mother West Indian like my mother, you know what I'm saying? They could be very dramatic. They could hit you with that drama, and you could feel like, damn, I'm a no good son. You know, look what I'm doing to my poor little mother. You know what I mean? Yeah, she hit me with the broomstick, but she got it right. You know, so I mean, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if boys deserve the physical because they're boys. However, I mean, that's kind of like how it would go in my house, to be honest. Hypothetically and theoretically, of course, Child Protective Services and DIFUS. Kimberly said, every kid has to be disciplined differently. My 15-year-old boy has never been spanked or put in a timeout. All I ever had to do was raise my voice and he got in line. Then I got this 2-year-old little girl that is already getting yoked up, and she looks at me like she ready to square up with me. I put her in timeout in the corner, and she fucks the corner up. She a G. That's why. You got yourself a G out there, you know what I mean? Yahida, I think that I'm pronouncing it correctly. If I'm wrong, let me know, though. Yahida said, I was raised with my mother busting my ass. Timeouts is when they're young. As they get older, they can get the hands, and if they ever try to raise their hand to me, I'm using whatever's in my presence. Yo, that's what my mother told me. My mother told me one day, you know, and you know what's funny, man? I didn't really even give trouble like that, but one day, me and my mother arguing. Can you imagine? She's saying something to me. We wasn't even arguing. She didn't like something I did or some shit. It'd be so small, like I didn't do the dishes or some shit, and she going off, right? And I'm 17. I'm smelling myself, you know what I'm saying? And I must have said some shit like, yo, shut up already. Thank you. I must have said some shit like, shut up already. And she punched me, right? And she left-handed. And so you don't really see the left coming all the time because she throw her shit unorthodox, you know what I'm saying? And she punched me. Out of reaction, out of getting hit, I took a step forward and my mother squared up with me and was like, come on. Right? Let me repeat that shit. My mother punched me and I didn't see the punch coming. Out of reaction now, I take a step forward. Right? Out of reaction. And she squared up. She dropped her hands back. I was like, yo, come on. So clearly she was on it the same way you was on it. Like anybody could get these hands. And again, I mean, she the undisputed champ of this shit because I never seen her lose. So, you know. Yahida said 9 out of 10, they know why you're about to beat them or punishment or punish them. Marsha said you got to instill fear in them that you don't have to hit them. That's true too, but how do you do that though? Because I know parents, some parents may be a little overbearing, some parents may be a little bit harsh or rude or aggressive, and the kids still act up the same way. It don't really be no, yo, you know, I feel like mom might grab me up. They get over that shit quick, I see. It's like again, my sister and myself grew up together, little bit different personalities growing up. My sister didn't really heed to that shit. Like my sister wasn't on some like, oh, I think I might get hit. My sister was like, I wish a nigga would kind of person. I was more like, you know what, man, I'm not gonna let my mother hit me, whatever. But my sister was like, yo, I wish a nigga would. That kind of shit. So it's kind of different. I think it does have to do with the child as an individual, but I don't think blanket punishment goes for every child. I don't think you can have one way of punishing anybody and it goes for everyone because their personalities may be different. Now, if you got a bunch of kids, most of them may deal with that blanket punishment. But some kids, I feel like you got to get in their face sometimes. And some kids, you got to tell them about themselves. You know what I'm saying? You got to remind them that they still leaving shit streaks on their panties or their fucking underwear. You got to embarrass them. Like some kids, you got to fucking embarrass. You know what I'm saying? That's real shit. Sherry, what's good? Sherry said, beat that little booty. Both my kids get timeout and spanked, and they're 6 and 2. My daughter knows the deal, but my 2-year-old son, I guess he's only 2. Man, I don't know what I'm gonna do with him. Timeout doesn't work. Spanking works 2.5 seconds. You right about that shit. You hit their ass hard enough, you hit them in they. Listen, I'll give you some. Hit me in my inbox for tips on how to spank your kids. Hit me on my inbox for places where the mark don't last long. Hit me. Cindy said, my favorite line, act like you love your life and act accordingly. Act like you love your life and act accordingly. You gotta trademark that shit. You gotta copyright that joint. Yahida said, what's that cucumber? Yes, actually. There's no cucumber in it this time, though. It is only lemon, which tastes much better. However, I've been drinking my cucumber water, and it's good for your skin. It leave a little glow. Not a glow like this light that's right here, but it do leave a little glow on your face. You know what I'm saying? You should check it out, though. But yes, thank you for recognizing it, though. Sherry said, instilling fear is difficult. Now, let me ask you a question. There's a saying that goes, something about fear and respect. Do most people respect fear? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you have to instill fear to get the respect you're looking for? Or is being democratic and being diplomatic more of a way to get respect from your kid or people in general? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of people respect fear, especially kids. When they fear you, they'll hop in line a lot quicker than if they just show you respect. From what I understand, from what I see. I'd like to feel like my kids respect me. But listen, if all else fails, you know what I'm saying? You take your belt off. If all else fails, of course. Hypothetically and theoretically speaking, I never touch my kids. Shout out to my CPS and my DIFUS fans out there. Big shout out to y'all. Cindy said, I'm 39 and still have a healthy fear of my mom's. Me too. And I tell my kids the same shit. Like, I don't even raise my voice to my mother. It's so crazy that I remember the day, the date, and the time when I raised my voice to my mother when I was 17. And I remember what happened. I remember how quick she was to throw her hands at her firstborn son. Like, she would have rocked out over that respect. You know what I'm saying? So to this day, I respect my mom's. And it's not even that she could really do me much as far as, beat me and all that shit. But it's just a respect that you got to have. I respect her gangster. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who she know, by the way. She could know the fucking shower posse. I don't know who she know. You know what I'm saying? Jenny, she's a G. What I'm going to tell her? Yahida said, the first time I whipped my kid's ass, it hurt me more. Honestly, I have a 13-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old son. I can count on both hands how many times I had to resort to beating them. That's what's up. That's what's up. I know some kids will get beaten all the time, and you would think that the shit works. But it's actually to the contrary, I guess. Luna Thick Boom said, quote-unquote, beatings are quicker. Timeouts, taking away their favorite things, speaking to them, applying a thought. Our way of discipline requires a lot more planning and structure, which takes time. So, Luna, let me ask you a question. Do you feel like it's really lack of patience with the parent when we spank? Or when we, when we spank, that sounds crazy. When we give our kids a spanking or give them a beating, do you think it is the lack of patience of the parent? You think if parents had more patience and was more willing to give time into the lecture and into the lesson, that things would be different? Because you ask the majority of people, especially in our generation, right, 30 and up, you ask the majority of those people, they tell you they got a spanking. It doesn't necessarily mean that they straight and narrow. That doesn't mean they try harder not to get caught. You know what I'm saying? So somebody got to talk to me.
I think a kid should expect the court.
Blake, what's good, bro? There's mental punishment. There's mental punishment. Take their shit away. Gear, JS, iPad, etc. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Luna said, do we have the time to apply strategic planning when it comes to discipline? There was a lot of us just hitting kids because it's the easy way out. Yeah, I think that's what you were alluding to. That makes sense too. Because, I mean, again, to me, I want to see which one works, because you don't want to just hit your kid after every time they do something. Him, her, them, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got to get spanked accordingly. You got to get timeout accordingly. Like, how does that work? You know, like, how should the punishment be? What level requires a spanking? What level requires a timeout? Or is it just like, no spanking, let's just deal with the timeouts and the losing privileges and all that? Luna said, our youth is an investment. That's a good quote. I gotta steal that from you unless it's already somebody else's. Luna said, our youth is an investment. We must handle children with a gentle hand. A lot of that abuse is stemming from slave masters. Okay? We are peaceful by nature. Hitting is intimidating and scary. Wow, that's deep. Trinity, what's good? My mom's was the disciplinarian and would throw the hands because she's a yardie. I know what it, listen, I already know. But let me read what you said, though. My mom's was a disciplinarian and would throw the hands. I feared her because of the physical ramifications. My pops didn't hit me. He reasoned with me on an intellectual level from young. She said, I actually feared my pops more than my mom. And it's funny because Trinity's saying her mom's would be quicker to use that physical discipline. However, her dad, who spoke to her on a different level, was the one she feared. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I feared disappointing him. I knew moms was gonna lay hands on me, so I would do shit knowing to myself I can tech the lick them. That's how I see it. That's how I was on it. I think, yo, a kid at a certain age goes, you know what? I feel like I could take them blows. I know her routine. I know she like to go to the body first and work her way up to the temple. If I just clench down and lift up my, you know what I'm saying? I think a kid learns how to maneuver around a beating. Like, yo, I'm going to get this spanking. I'm going to get this beating. And I'm going to just deal with it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to hurt for a little bit, but fuck it. The party was off the fucking hook anyway. And hey, I'm going to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? Or you can have the parent who spoke to you and was like, yo, I can't believe you really hurt me down to my soul. You know what I'm saying? Your ancestors and all, like all that kind of shit. You know, you're disappointing your ancestors. You know what I'm saying? What about you going to kill off your little one grandmother because of so and so and so? So my mother would do that too. You know what I'm saying? My mother would hit you with the guilt trip like, yo, I have to call your grandmother. And listen, and I know for a fact, my mother would get on the phone with nobody, fronting like it was my grandmother. And the last person you wanted to know that you was a piece of shit, fuck up teenager was your grandmother. You know what I'm saying? Grandma be like, yo, I heard you was in school so and so and so. And you're like, damn, my own mother snitched on me. But I know for a fact my mother used to get on the phone with the dial tone and would be crying on the phone, lying. You know what I'm saying? My mother on the phone lying and shit, talking about, yo, I wish somebody would just tech him. Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like, she'd be in her bedroom crying and shit, lying, asking God to take her and leave us here so we could suffer without her. That kind of shit. That's punishment. That's mental abuse, man. I ain't lying. I ain't fucking lying, man. Trinity, you know. Yo, my mother would beat you up and then make you feel bad by hitting you with a guilt trip. She trying to kill you. Yo, there's scars I have to this day that I need a fucking therapist. I'll pay good money for this shit too. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Yahida said to Luna, how many kids do you have? When she get back, I'm going to let you know. Yahida said, nope, a parent can be tolerant a lot, but you get to that breaking point where enough is enough. I think a lot of us agree with that. You know, because again, I'm a big talker. You know, my dad was a big talker, and my mother was a big talker, although she was quick to throw them hands, but I try to talk to them. But sometimes talking don't work. I think they take advantage of the shit. They look at it like, oh, this nigga ain't gonna swing. Next thing you know, they taking your ATM card right out your shit. You know what I'm saying? Right out your shit. So it's very weird that way, you know? Very weird that way. Yahida said, oh, so Luna, Yahida's asking how many kids you have. I think she's trying to make a point. She also said that's when you bring that metal bat out. Word. Listen, again, my mother would pick up anything. Anything. Whatever was around. A book, a shoe, whatever. Corned beef can, whatever the fuck. Anything. Bag of porridge mix. Throw that shit in a book bag and swing that shit at you. These ain't made up stories, nigga. This the truth. You know, I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't gonna lie. Francine, what's up, sis? She said, I'm only here during a commercial break, but I wanted to say I believe in timeouts for mommies. I hide in the laundry room with a glass. She said, I hide in the laundry room with a glass of wine until they figure it out. I could dig it. I could dig it. My house ain't that big. I don't got nowhere to hide, man. Not only that, if I could hide and not hear them, it would be different, but I can still hear their voices. And not that I'm going crazy, but they loud, you know? So I can't even really run from the argument and the fuckery, really. I can't run. Rashawn, you know it's true, bro. You know it's true. Cindy, I'm telling you, my mother would hit us all with the I'm gonna tell your grandmother. And he'd be like, fuck. Because you had to see your grandmother at least twice a year. And we saw our grandmother every weekend until we was about 16. And so, you know, your mother goes snitch on you, and you got to go see grandma for the weekend? From Friday to Sunday? And she hitting you with like, yo, that's your only mother, and the heart ain't no good, and all this shit, and all this shit. She wants the best for you, and you're like, fuck, all I did was cut class once. I cut ninth period. Nobody goes to ninth period, grandma. But grandma don't understand that shit. Grandma was like, yo, we didn't even have a period. You know what I'm saying? Like, we struggled so bad, we didn't even have a period. Respect your mother. I'm like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? So it's rough. It's rough. Don't be laughing at me. Shay, don't be laughing at me. It's real shit. This ain't no joke. This the real shit. You know what I'm saying? I wanna pronounce your name properly. So let me know if I'm saying it wrong. I want to say Tanya or Tanae Ellis. She laughed at me and she said, that's my mother. Praying for God to come off his cross and strike her. I'm telling you, my mother would lock herself in the... Yo, I thought my mother sometimes was going to go to heaven on her own, if you know what I'm trying to say. I don't even want to say the word. Like, she sounded so distraught, wailing in the room. Wailing in the room, yo. Bob Marley type of shit. Bob Marley type of wailing. You feel me? And in there like, Lord. And you know she rocking. You know she in there like this and shit. You know what I'm saying? How her children don't love her and all types of shit. And she rocking. And then, you know, all of a sudden she quiet. And you banging on the door to check on her and shit like, Ma, can I go to the kitchen? You know? Mom, you want something to drink? And she ain't answering the shit. And you're like, fuck. And ain't no cell phone, ain't no phone in the room. You know what I'm saying? So you're struggling out there. You're struggling. You know what I mean? She said, I talk until I'm blue in the face, but like my mom says, all who don't hear are gonna feel. And that's real. And that was my mother thing. My mother would talk you to death, but when she felt like, yo, this nigga ain't listening, she would start swinging. And I'm asking, can you blame somebody for that? Tana, is that how you say it? Tana, let me know. Say yes or no for me. She said, I didn't get beat, but my mother guilted us to death. We got both. That's why we fucked up right now, you know. Because I got both. The beating she felt wasn't good enough. Although we wasn't abused, don't get me wrong. She wasn't like, yo, she gonna beat the shit out of us. But we got beaten. Not only that, grandma gave it to us too. And my grandfather gave it. My grandfather had about 40 or 50 belts. He only wore one of them shits. So out of the 50, 49 of them was to bust ass. He would call the shit a behanging. You know what I'm saying? A behanging. He would spin, he had like a belt rack, and he would spin the rack and just pick one off of the shit. And stomp, because he's an older guy. And he would stomp right down to the room and get the swinging. And we in there taking licks, but we laughing because we like, yo, This shit don't hurt. It's me and all my cousins. We getting beat together like a family. You know what I'm saying? But that was punishment. Like my grandparents, they didn't really play that talking too much shit. My mother was like, yo, I'm going to talk these kids until they want to commit suicide. Then I'm going to pull them out and let them know I'm going to save them because I love them. But that shit didn't work. I love you still, Ma. I hope you're watching. I love you. Yahida said, I think beatings are appropriate. Shit, I got beat for pretty much anything. However, I believe I turned out great. I hear that. Shit, I hear that. Listen, honestly, I wish I could say the same. I didn't get beat for everything. But, and I don't know if getting beat for everything would have really done something, but maybe. Shit, I don't know. Shay Shay said, I honestly think my son acts up because I don't bust his ass the way my ass used to get bust. And I'm like, listen, I told my son in particular, when he turns 12, because I'm already hypothetically and theoretically busting his ass for all my CPS DIFUS viewers. But I told him I'm getting a pair of boxing gloves for the two of us, because it's not going to be a point where I'm talking to you and you my height, you my fucking size and shit. You know what I'm saying? You stepping in me and shit. We nose to nose and shit. Like we fighting on a Sunday on Showtime or something. We not going to do that shit. What we actually going to do is I'm going to buy you these gloves. You're going to let me know where you want this fucking work. Okay? I'm raised in Brooklyn, and I moved you out of Brooklyn at a young age. So you don't really have it the way I got it. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you feel like, yo, you know what? I had enough of this nigga. I'm the man of the house now. We could take the shit outside. Or we could fight for the pride, B. You know what I'm saying? We could fight for the lions behind us. Because Simba not taking my crown. Fuck the bullshit. Okay? I ain't dead until I fall off a cliff. You dig? Just letting niggas know. I'm just talking out loud. Shit. Yahida said, that's the worst. That's the worst. Getting them licks and your mom seeing you laughing. Listen. When you laughing, she feel like, oh, let me step that shit up into another level. That's what it is. Danny said, my mom too, always calling the West Indians. Word. Luna said, peace, sissy. Got 3 total. This is going back to, I believe this is going back to Tana. I'm not 100% sure. But somebody did ask, I want to say Yahida asked. Yes, Yahida, this is Luna responding back to you. She said, peace, sissy. Got 3 total. 2 young men, ages 14 and 12. 1 little lady, she's 8. Yes, timeouts for parents. So yeah, so I guess she's saying, yeah, she got 3 kids and she uses the timeout method. You know what I'm saying? Miss Danny said, come all the way to America to embarrass my family. Word. Blue Cane was shaking. And I mean, listen, if it wasn't my mother busting my ass, or my grandmother or my grandfather, you know, she would say some shit like, I'm gonna tell your father. And you know, anytime you hear that, you know, if you know who your dad is, you know what I'm saying? If he's available to get to you, you feel like, yo, I ain't trying to get fucked up by him. But unfortunately, you know, they didn't live together and he was a good while away. So although we were in contact, he wasn't physically there like he wanted to be. So as a man in the crib, feeling like a man, 16, 17, 18, I'm like, yo, what you gonna tell me? You punching me with all your might and I'm taking them, what you gonna tell me? All you can really do is kick me out. Thank God that she didn't. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Trinity said, my son just turned 4, so we still working through which punishment works best for him. Taking away his favorite stuff works best. I think that works for at least until they're about, you know, 14 maybe. Maybe a little younger, maybe, you know, give or take a year. Because, like, Kayana, for example, the 11-year-old girl, she's an inside girl. Like, she liked to be in the crib. So her phone, the computer, shit like that, when you take them things, they go crazy. You know what I'm saying? When you send them to bed early, they go crazy. Chris is an outside kid. So if you're like, yo, you can, for example, he got in trouble the other day. He was grounded for a week. He just got off a punishment Sunday that just passed. He was in trouble for a week. He couldn't, grounded for the whole week. Early bed, can't go out, and it was nice. A couple of them days was nice. So his friends is in the front and shit. He at the window, and I'm like, yes, that shit is working. You know what I'm saying? But he was still kind of breaking the rules on the low, because I'm telling him what to do and what not to do. For example, I'm like, yo, don't ask to go outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, you grounded, don't ask to go outside, because I'm taking it like you don't respect my word. 2 times in the following hour, he asked to go outside. You know what I'm saying? So we working on certain shit with him, but I didn't touch him. Usually, hypothetically, and of course, theoretically, I would have grabbed him up by his collar. His imaginary collar, of course. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't touch him. But he went crazy. I took away his phone, so there was no Instagram, there was no YouTube, none of that shit. TV was out. He couldn't watch no basketball games, nothing. No computer. You know, like he got a little, his sister bought him a little basketball chain and shit with a little pendant. Couldn't wear that shit to school. Had to take the earring out, the whole shit. He was looking like a bum. He was walking to school like, you know, the new kid and shit. Like, had no shit on him. No phone. He had to wear the old sneakers that he had, the tight joint. He was suffering. And I think it worked. So we'll see. I'll update you. I'll update y'all, you know what I'm saying, the next time you get in trouble. I'll let you know what happens. Cindy said, got all types of beat downs when I was younger. I'm married, accomplished, and a health functioning adult. Beat down saves lives. I could dig it. Let me like that comment. Beat downs save lives. I'm about to put that shit on a t-shirt. R.I.P. grounding. R.I.P. timeouts. But the way Luna's saying the shit works for the most part. Like, do we want to scar our kids? You know what I'm saying? She's like, yo, we get that shit. That shit is passed down way back from the slave masters and all that. You know what I'm saying? That corporal punishment, that physicality, you know, it basically doesn't build any respect. It just builds a fear. And like, do you want to fear your parents? Because what that shit turns into, I can't talk to my parents because I fear them. I fear how they may react. And so I go talk to people on the street, or I go talk to whoever, and I'm making bigger mistakes than I need to make. You know what I'm saying? Tana said, and I hope I'm pronouncing it properly. Tana Ellis said, my oldest got beat. He tap danced on my last nerve. I had to, because at one point, he used to think because he's bigger, he couldn't get it. So I had to literally square up on him and fight him. Then he realized he was getting hands and feet. Then I'd call my brothers. He turned out really good, respectful, and well-mannered. That's because I started behind closed doors. See? So saying that now, right? Shay said beat downs matter. I'm about to hashtag that shit too. I'm about to have that shit right across my shirt. Beat downs matter. But Tana, as you say that though, do you think physical punishment, spanking and beating, should that only be applied to the boys? Should that be a boys thing exclusively? Like, should we be teaching girls like, yo, like for example, if a father hits their daughter, she gets a spanking, she get a slap, whatever. Are you teaching her, yo, it's okay for a guy to hit you? But when he get mad, it's okay for him to hit you if he feel like you didn't do what you supposed to do. Because, I mean, we got to think about it like that too, right? There has to be some sort of psychological ramifications to that shit. You know what I'm saying? If a dad smacks his daughter for being disrespectful or being out of line too many times, whatever, is she growing up thinking, yo, well, if I'm out of line with my man and he smacks the shit out of me, I deserve that. Because that's what my dad did. Because I know, don't we also teach them, yo, you know, get a guy who's going to do better than your daddy can do. Right? Like, yo, my dad don't speak to me like that, so you can't speak to me like that. But my dad does smack the shit out of me, so I guess it's okay for you to smack the shit out of me. So we got to look at it on them levels too. So I kind of see on another level what Luna might be saying as well. You know what I'm saying? Yahida said, hell no, it's worse with the girl. Okay. Well, and hold on. And I agree. It's worse with the girl, man. It's worse. You know what I'm saying? They sassy than a motherfucker. And they talk a lot of shit. You know? If there was any time for me to be transgender so I can fuck one of these girls up, now'd be the time. Okay? I'm thinking about this shit. That's a serious fucking a serious thought I'm going through right now. I'm thinking about being transgender so I can fuck one of these daughters up and then switching back to my regular me. You know, because I can do that. It's America. I can do what the fuck I want to do. Tanai said, only because he thought he was going to put fear in me, I had to show him. Plus, he has a brother, so I needed to let the middle child know, don't let this be you. True that. True that. Pay close attention how I kick ass around here. I could dig it. Cindy said, nope, some of these girls need it. Maybe let moms throw the hands. So are you saying that the dad should never use physical punishment on the girl? Tanah said, never slap your daughter. Yahida said, no discrimination. Female or male, parents, guardians, beat that ass. I hear that. Trinity said, this little dude of mine lost all his privileges for a week. Couldn't play with anything that worked with batteries. In this bitch playing with Hot Wheels and tennis balls, and it'd be boring. My son had a fucking a rolled up sock, right? Because he was doing the laundry. He got the rolled ups, and he throwing the rolled up sock back and forth. Your man got 3 highlighters from the fucking the little junk drawer in the kitchen, which everybody got, by the way. And he picked out the 3 highlighters, and he juggling the highlighters, bored than a motherfucker. So that's how I knew the punishment was working. He was going fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? He was losing it. He was losing it. Sophia, how are you? Sophia said, never slap your daughter, but spank her is okay. How old does the spanking stop? Sophia, how old does the spanking stop? Me as a dad, for example, and I have a 17-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old daughter. When does the spanking stop? So y'all say never slap her, like, I guess y'all mean slap her across the face. So when does the spanking stop? You know? Shay said, my dad beat my ass, but he also taught me to never let a man put his hands on me. Isn't that a little hypocritical? And I don't know your dad, and I don't want no trouble because clearly he be smacking people. And I don't want to get smacked by Daddy Shay. But Shay, I'm asking out of genuine curiosity, like, we try not to be hypocritical as parents, right? So we'll tell our kids, like, yo, don't smoke. So even if we do smoke, we try not to smoke in front of them. Or don't drink. So even if we do drink, we try to drink out somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But if you beat the shit out, let me not say beat the shit out of, but if you beat your kid or your daughter, for example, and then you turn around and go, yo, no, never let a man put his hands on you. The next time he go to smack you, you like, yo, don't put your hands on me. You know, like, it could be funny like that. Like, I don't want to send a mixed signal. You know what I'm saying? Cindy said, I don't believe in hitting in the face, period. But your arms, legs, and everywhere else can get it. I could dig it. Yahida said, dads are usually more easygoing with their daughters. Usually. Not all the time, though. I'm rough, because they fucking rude. Sophia said, I'm good. That's what's up. I'm glad to hear that. It's been a long time. Sophia said, my dad spanked me, but put fear in me. Okay. Cindy said 12 for girls. So after 12, the spanking should stop. So what do you do after 12? You just ground them, right? You just kind of like take their shit away and whatnot. So why is it different for boys, though? Like, here go the same question. When should the spanking stop for boys? Or does it ever fucking stop? I'm sorry to hear that, Shay. I didn't mean to make a joke. If you feel offended, I apologize. I was just kind of kidding around. Sophia said he only had to look. Okay. To this day. Okay, shit. I gotta learn that look. I'm gonna be in the mirror like, I'm gonna get them all them looks. And hopefully one of them shits work. Hopefully they don't laugh. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna work on it, though. I'm gonna work on the look. Tana said, you gotta drape your daughter up, rough her ass up. Listen, you gotta tell me. Because theoretically and hypothetically, they get draped around this motherfucker. Draped. Theoretically, of course. You know what I'm saying? Shay said, but there's a difference. He's my parent. True. But I mean, again, I'm not trying to get into an argument or not. I'm just trying to have this conversation where, like, we as parents, we try to teach them by example, right? We try to. I know it's hard. We try to teach them by example. But if we hit our daughter, for example, a dad hits his daughter and says, yo, don't let nobody put their hands on you. It's kind of like a mixed message, because once they reach a certain age, what if they throw the shit back at you? What you going to tell them? Like, yo, I'm your dad. Now, Shay, let me say this, and I'm glad you didn't take offense. I appreciate that. But let me say this. I don't discriminate when it comes to punishment. Whatever's good for one is good for the other and the other too. You know what I'm saying? I might be rougher on my son when it comes to physical punishment, because let me be honest, it's rough for black men. I ain't teaching them how to take a hit, but I'm teaching them like, yo, and it sound corny, but let me tell you, when parents go, yo, this shit is gonna hurt me more than it hurts you, that's real shit. I'm not gonna say I cried myself to sleep after punishment, but I feel bad, like, damn, when this boy gonna learn? Because when he get out there in them streets, and whoever roll up to him and rough him up, or he don't listen and he got to deal with consequences, they don't love him like me. They not gonna cut him a break like me. When you reach a certain age, you're not cute no more. You're cute at 11. You're not cute at whatever age. So when they go, oh, look at his eyes, they don't look at your eyes shit. They asking me to identify your ass by your eyes. You see what I'm saying? Get your shit together, Christopher. Let me step out of it. I took too personal. Let me step out of it. Yahida said, a father has every right to spank his child. A child should never think a relationship between their partner should hit them. True that. He is a father and guiding him or her. That's what's up. Danny said, dad shouldn't hit kids. What? Why? Yo, you're going to have to answer me, man. You're going to have to answer me. Yahida said spanking, not spamming. Shaking my head, typo. I knew what you meant. You stupid. Sophia said, my father is a humble man and patient man. That is why. We knew when he spoke, we knew he was not playing and his words was his word. I hear that shit. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. Shay said, that's what I tell my son. Definitely. Definitely. My man Crown Productions. My man said, does it depend on where you live? Like living in a bad area, you want your discipline to really get through to them boy or girl. And that's what I was trying to get to. You know, if you live in a certain demographic where it's rough in the street, police, gangs, bullies, whatever, you want to teach them discipline. You don't necessarily want to teach them toughness as much as you want to teach them discipline. You know what I'm saying? You want them to keep their head on straight. You want them to do what they're supposed to do. Like you tell your kid, yo, come straight home after school for a reason. You're not being mean. You know what it's like out there. As a kid, they can't really picture that shit because they still have a child's mind. But as an adult, you see, especially coming from where we coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody in the hood got spidey sense, man. We all feel that. We all hear that shit before it even get to us. We all feel that thing before the shit even pop. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many of us can tell what kind of gun just busts on 4th of July? How many of us can tell the difference between fireworks and a gun? Because we know. You know what I'm saying? So when you put your kid out there, you only telling them shit because you know. You know what I mean? So you want them to have a certain discipline. You want them to be able to stick to the script. You know what I'm saying? A inner discipline. You know, an inner structure and an inner guidance. You don't want them out there just kind of doing whatever the fuck they want to do, get in trouble, got to deal with consequences. I be having my kids watch Scared Straight marathons in this bitch. It don't be like one episode. Like, I wait for this, I wait for the Scared Straight marathon in this bitch, and we watch them. And I be pausing it and running the lesson and then restarting the motherfucker. I ain't playing. Luna, I ain't playing. We sit in here and watch A&E all Saturday, if necessary. And every time there's a little boy I steal and I smoke weed, I like to fight. If somebody say, cash me outside, how about that? You know what I'm saying? That kind of shit. Like when Cash Me Outside run into homie that been in there for bank robbery and fucking 3 attempts. And he doing 20 something. And he big and brolic. And he calling you bitch. And you in there crying, talking about how many more push-ups, sir? Can I wash those for you? I be pausing it. And I be looking them right in their fucking face. Like, yeah, you see little Barry? Barry crying like a bitch. You know what Barry gonna be doing tonight? Getting his McLovin on. Yeah. And I be letting them know. I don't bullshit. I be telling them the real shit. I got long nose hairs. I'm not digging my nose, man. But yeah, the discipline gotta be for real. I don't care what kind of discipline. Whether it be spanking, timeout, grounding, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Danny said, if I tell my kids that either father is coming, they straighten up. I could dig it. Shay Shay said, nah, my son thinks I'm old and know nothing. Just like me. And I got to keep telling him, like, yo, look how I wear my hat. I'm not old. I got a snapback. I'm young. I'm hip. Right? That's what it is. I'm in style and shit. You know what I'm saying? I know Yachty and Uzi and them niggas. I know these niggas. You know what I'm saying? I know them. Sophia said the question is, if you saw a man slapping a girl, what would be the first thing out of your mouth? So no man should slap their daughter, but use wisdom. Okay, use wisdom. True. So let me take it to another level. Let me take it up a notch. Do you think spanking and timeout / grounding is cultural? Do you think like the black community is more eager to give physical punishment than the white community? You know, why do we have this perception like white people always putting their kid on timeout or shaking a finger at them or, you know, go to your room, Tommy. And meanwhile, Tommy in there mixing up a potion for their ass. You know what I'm saying? Why do we, are people of color, black people, Spanish people, whatever, are we a lot quicker to spank our kid? You know what I'm saying? Fuck them up wherever they at. Go up to the school, box them around and all that. And why, as opposed to other people, other cultures like, you know, Caucasians, maybe even Asians. I've never seen an Asian person get disciplined yet. Maybe in karate films, but that's racist, and I'm not, right? But why is it that our community seems to be the one quicker to give that spank, especially the West Indian community? Like, all you hear from any West Indian person in my generation, 30-something going all the way down. Not even all the way down anymore, but 30-something going all the way up. We always talking about getting hit, or a corned beef can getting thrown at us, or a spoon, or a switch, or an extension cord, or remote control, or a table, or getting run over by a car from our parents. You know what I'm saying? We be talking about getting abused and shit. Why is that, though? Why is that? Crystal, what's good? Crystal said, I'm all for spanking, quote unquote spanking. I don't believe in no damn timeout. Shit. Children need to have fear in their lives. Shit. That shit works, and stop digging your damn nose. I'm not digging it. There's a friggin' long ass hair in there. I know it is a hair. And it's just troubling me, yo. But you see how you always come around here with the shit? Don't come around here with the shit, man. Okay? Don't come around here with the shit, man. Luna said, community, not-for-profits help. Community, not-for-profits help when it comes to helping your youth. Extracurricular activities, they need to have a life outside of school. That's true. That's true. She also said mentors, therapists, trusted friends, or family members. We need to ask for assistance. Tons of resources. We need to raise well-rounded individuals. We got to put in that work. Peace to all. We lit. My sis. Salute that. You're such an intelligent person, man. I could dig your soul, yo. Really. Really. Tana said, because we want correction quick. And I think that's why we hit. And I think Luna alluded to that earlier. Because we want that behavior to change right now. Right? We want that shit to change right now. Is why we quicker to hit, I think. One rotted lick, Tana said. That's real. That's real. And my mother would start off the shit like that. She would run those words, and then that's how you knew it was coming. You knew one rotten lick was coming. You know? And because she a lefty, you didn't know, you just kind of didn't see it. You just kind of didn't see it. You would get caught and you would have to react. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough. It's not easy. If your mother's a lefty, it's not easy. For all you mothers out there who box with your right hand, get yourself a left hook, man. It'll change everything. It'll change everything. I ain't lying. Danielle said it's education. I could dig that too. I agree with that actually. Shamika said, hey Shamika. Shamika said, I think it's best to beat your child and correct the behavior before the police beat your child or kill them. I'm going to like that because I tell my son that shit all of the time. All of the time. I do it because I love you. The police don't love you. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's what I'm trying to say. But they don't get that shit. And you know what too? Some kids gotta learn the hard way. Can we agree on that? There are some kids out there who are just hard-headed and they gotta learn the hard way. You know what I'm saying? Shay said, listen, ass whoopings and punishment saved my life. See, we got one satisfied customer. We got one satisfied customer. Tana said, remember, if the neighbors saw you doing something, they could beat you too. You see, and I know that's a fact in a lot of neighborhoods. My neighborhood in particular, they didn't really hit. Like, you know, I grew up in Brooklyn and all that, and grew up in Canarsie, you know what I mean? And neighbors knew each other and shit like that, but it was selected few that would even come to the crib. You know, everybody wasn't friends because it was neighbors, so my mother wasn't going for niggas just grabbing me up and all that. But we had some snitching ass neighbors. Mrs. Brown, don't let me give out your address, but you live on 105th Street. Canarsie, Brooklyn, between Flatlands Avenue J. You're one snitching ass woman. I love you still. But man, you're a snitch, Mrs. Brown. You would tell for any fucking thing. Niggas couldn't even have friends over before you start the shit. You know what I'm saying? And she would get us fucked up. Miss Trini Bombshell was good. Miss Brown would get me and my sister fucked up because she was a rat. Okay? I love her though. Like, you know, if she needed help with the Christmas lights next door and all that shit, I would be there for her. You know? If she needed somebody to come clean out the gutters or what, I'd do it for her. I don't. You need somebody to help you with your grocery bags, Mrs. Brown? I don't mind. But why you always telling on me? Shout out to the fifth, Jay. Why you always telling me though? Like, stop telling my mother that I'm having friends over or I'm coming home early from school. You don't know my schedule. You weren't there when I got my program. This is my program card, Mrs. Brown. Fuck wrong with you? Why aren't you at work anyway? Shit, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I get off at 12:30. The fuck you doing home so early? Snitching ass, Miss Brown, yes? Anyhow. Yo, Shamika, you dead ass right. It does take a village. But when that village is... You see, the village is funny. Because again, I'm going back to the black and the white thing. And when I say black and white, I mean culturally speaking. I don't mean as individual people. I mean culturally. You know? Is the white village more responsible for their kids as opposed to the black village? You know what I'm saying? Like, you see certain communities, like where I'm at right now, there's certain communities of, like white communities, where they really all take care of each other. You know? Like, Billy can go to Miss Maddie's house. And Billy's mother knows it. But Billy and Billy's mother got into an argument, and Miss Maddie or whoever the fuck, they're cool. So he can stay over there. But I don't think Mrs. Mills is letting me stay at her crib because me and my mother got into an argument. Although that did actually happen. But I'm just talking about on a general scale. You know what I mean? Shay, I gotta put Miss Brown on blast because she fucked up a lot of things for me, man. She got me fucked up for things, man. You know? She gonna tell my mother we playing the music too loud. It's 1 o'clock in the fucking afternoon. When we supposed to play music? At night? Shit, you go to bed at 6 o'clock. When the fuck we supposed to play? When we supposed to be kids? Mrs. Brown? Private houses was a village. We got beat up and had respect. And you right about that. Now again, we got told on. So, you know, my mother would call us at 4 o'clock like, yo, I know where you was at. You know, tell me why the Domino's pizza man leaving my house at 3:30 in the afternoon, and I give the phone right to my sister, because I don't know what the fuck you talk about, Mom. I don't know. Excuse me. I ain't snitching. I'm just saying a lot. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, is the black community quicker to give spankings than the white community? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? What's the misconception that the white community is quicker to give a timeout? However, we also have that same misconception that white people, you know, they blow shit up because they don't get a spanking. You know, because they don't get fucked up, they out here blowing shit up. But I mean, let's keep it real since we out here talking. There's a lot of people in our generation, in our community, that I've even grown up with. We used to get fucked up, and to this day, they still doing a certain lot of shit. They in court all the fucking time. You know what I'm saying? They still robbing niggas, allegedly. I wouldn't know. You know, they still doing a lot of shit, and they used to get fucked up. You know what I mean? So could the difference also be cultural? Miss Trinity Mom says she's retired. She did not retire. She probably retired now, being that she's about 900 years old. But back then, she wasn't 900. She was about 840. You know what I'm saying? So she wasn't retired. She was retired my ass. She's a fucking snitch. She was the feds. I actually think she ran for like councilman of the district. Real shit. And I was going to vote for her too, but then I remembered how she got me fucked up. So I voted for the other nigga. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Fuck out of here, Miss Brown, with that shit. You know? Crystal said, hold on. What is now? Yeah. Crystal said, ain't nobody gonna go to nobody's house. That's where molestation comes into play. Stay your ass home. True. I remember I couldn't even sleep over nobody's crib. I probably slept over somebody's house once, maybe twice. And my mother knew them for a good while. And they lived on the block. But I couldn't just go like, I'm going to go sleep over so-and-so house. My mother like, sit your stupid ass down before I throw this corned beef can at you. But such a dumb ass down. You know what I'm saying? They devil children. Yo, and that's how I'm saying, and that's what I mean. And we have this, again, we got this misconception that, you know, if you get fucked up, you're better behaved as you become an adult. But I don't know how true that is. You know? No cucumber tonight. Only the lemons. But you clowning the cucumber and all I don't like the taste, let me tell you. That shit is good for your skin, y'all. I know I'm light. And I know this light is bright. But it cleared up my skin. So, I don't know if y'all clowning, but when y'all see me at the reunion and my shit like velvet, I'm going to be handing out cucumbers. You know what I'm saying? Because I love the people, them. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be handing out cucumbers and shit. You feel me? Tana said, me neither. My mother was straight Jamaican. Damn, it just flicked away. I hope you're still there. Let me know if you're still there. Shay said, that's not true for everybody. What's not true for everybody? Miss Trini Bombshell said, little spanking never hurt anyone. Growing up in a Trinidadian household, it was a straight up dictatorship. Yeah. You see, of course, again, growing up where I grew up, nothing but West Indians. I think, like, by the time I became like a teenager, I want to say like 90% of the people in the hood were West Indian. 90%. When I first moved there, it was like 20%. But like when like 95 and shit came, 96, even before that, nothing but West Indians was out there. So we understand the dictatorship sort of feeling of everybody's house. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I mean, even if your dad was there or not, your mother had the big voice. She ran shit. You did shit when she said shit. And the nigga to talk back to his mother was the rebel. Like, we probably didn't even go into his house because we like, yo, I don't want to be around when she turn around and hit you with the corned beef can or the broomstick. I'll wait in the front for you. How about that? Catch me outside. You know what I'm saying? How about that? You know what I mean? Shit. Crystal said, I was stuck with the hair, skin, and nails vitamins. Yeah, that's true. I could dig that. But I'm gonna fuck with this lemon water still. Miss Trini Bombshell said, little spanking never hurt no one. Oh yeah, I read that. Yo, Kwame, what's good? Femme Fatale, how are you? Why you laughing so hard already? And you just got here. Miss Trini Bombshell said, yo, exactly, I'm scared of my mom. Yo, you ain't the only one. We've been having this talk. We talking about spanking versus timeout. You know what I'm saying? And it's a big deal, especially in, I want to say, our community, right? The black community, the West Indian community, people of color. Like, we get spankings. You know what I'm saying? Or we used to anyway. But now, kids are so... And you know, and kids will let you know, too, like, yo, I did, like, they almost be daring you to hit them. They look you in their face like, nigga, I wish you would hit me. With my cell phone. And they quick to call them people. And let me be honest, as tough as niggas is, we don't want them people in our face. I got a homie right now who, you know what I'm saying, the people them just came and took his kids. And I feel bad for him, you know what I mean? But, you know, his kids called them niggas. His kids called him. And was like, yo, he ain't feeding us. And that's bullshit. The nigga got nothing but food. He get nothing but stamps. So he got nothing but food in the crib. But again, when kids say some shit like, yo, he hitting me, or she don't feed us, or whatever the fuck, that's it. That's it. Now you got a case. And we know what the cases be looking like. Them shit stick around, man. Crystal said, she's right. My father was the Trini version of Hitler. We had no opinion, couldn't breathe too hard, and that house better be clean. You already know. You already know. I'm not that bad, but I'm on it like that too. Listen, you work all day and you come home, shit's supposed to be done. You shouldn't have to talk about a goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to revert back to this shit, but or you got to buy a couple corned beef cans so you can start hurling them shits at them kids when they don't get their shit together. Oh, Tanai, you back. I don't know what happened, sis. You have to warn them once, punishment, and then if that doesn't work, beat them. Yeah, if you have time. Or if you have no time, or that just tear into their ass and then pray they get it. And listen, and I think most people should do it like that, actually. Me personally, and I'm not the best parent. I'm not asking nobody to follow my way of doing things, but I talk first. And maybe I talk too much, actually. Some people tell me I talk way too much. But I like to talk to them first because you try to spare them the beating, right? You try to spare them the beating like, yo, beating is the last resort because beating can happen, right? If you look on the list of shit, beating is on the list. So if I'm going off the checklist and I'm like talk some more, talk a little more than that, reiterate, restructure the talk again, sit them down, yell, say it louder, and then by the time I reach beating, there's no turning back. So really the kids got to take they got to take responsibility for this beating too. Because a lot of us, we just don't be swinging on them for no fucking reason. You know what I'm saying? They be asking for the shit. I do talk a lot. And sometimes I feel I talk too much. But when I fuck them up, they get mad. You can't get mad. How you gonna get mad and you let me talk myself until this vein starts sticking the fuck out my neck? You know what I'm saying? And mind you, they'll get over the beating. What really bothers them is if you break their heart somehow, or if like you hurt their feelings. You know, like you don't want to call your kid dumb or stupid or no shit like that. Although some of us might. Shit, fuck it. Sometimes they act stupid. Fuck it. You acting stupid. Bow! That kind of shit. You know what I mean? Danielle said, now where the fuck do these kids get the right to pick up any phone? You see? Hitler didn't allow no phone calls. Okay. They got too much privileges. But let's be honest. They don't feel like they was born with those privileges. These privileges are instilled in them. They go to school and learn all types of rights and shit. What fucking rights? Rights? Fuck you talking about? Listen, you better walk to the right of me. That's the only rights you fucking got. Shit. You know what I mean? Crystal said, all jokes aside, I very rarely hit my daughter. It makes me feel like a monster when I'm done. On occasion, she gets a tune-up, but I talk to her and show her where she's going wrong. That's the same thing for me. I try anyway. Of course, the moment you hit them, they yelling bloody murder, and they can't handle it, and it's too much and you're so wrong and you're so mean. You know what I'm saying? But when you're doing all the talking to where you have to sit down and take your blood pressure medicine and call your mother and call your grandmother for all that kind of shit, they don't think they're wrong. They don't mind if your eyes are bloodshot red and you need a drink and all types of shit. They don't give a shit about that shit. They want to see if you'll drop down dead. They're not gonna kill me. My mother told me, yo, don't make your picnic them kill you. And I said, yes, ma'am. And I'm not going to. Nigga, I'll kill them before they kill me. Hypothetically, of course. Theoretically kill them, of course. Shout out to DIFAS and Child Protective Services. Shout out to y'all niggas. Tana said, one time my mother said to us, I could have abandoned you. Yo, we must have the same mother. I could have abandoned you. Smoke crack, been totally unfit. Why must you give me such a hard time? I promise you that might have been the last time we gave her a hard time, to the extent that she wanted to beat us. She guilted us into behaving. That was my mother, yo. I told you, my mother would get on the phone with my grandmother and cry. And go into her room and lock the door and bawl and wail. And Lord God and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? All of that shit. And then all of a sudden, no more noise. And you beating down the door and shit like, yo, should we go upstairs and go get my aunt to come downstairs? Because I don't hear my mother. And then she done took all the phones into her room so we can't call the police. Yo, we was outsmarted, yo. Listen, I might have gave some more trouble, but it wasn't to the extent to where I felt like my mother killed herself. Or where she had to call my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? And looking back, what my old grandmother could have really did, though. Like, what she could have really... They would have jumped me. But out of respect... I was just like, you know what? Let me just relax, yo. Let me help my mother. Let me show my mother the respect that she deserves. You know what I'm saying? Raising kids, going to work every day, trying her best to have a social life, putting her children first, you know. She did the best that she could. Let me show her the respect. And again, as kids, you grow up, you mess up, this, that, and third, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I didn't suffer no concussion from the corned beef can. You know what I mean? She never pulled a knife on me. You know what I'm saying? She hit me where if I had to go to school, nobody would see it. Nobody would see the mark. You know what I mean? And she talked to me. So really, I can't even really be too mad. You know what I'm saying? Check me out, though. It's a little bit late. I'm going to let everybody get back to what they got to get back to. I appreciate everybody for coming out. You know what I mean? Miss Trini Bombshell, Femme Fatale, Crystal, Tana, Shay, Shamika, everybody. Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all soon. Peace.